This is embarrassing. Okay, I'm live. Hello, everybody. This is Wine with Dave. Joanne, can you bring me some wine? Thanks. Bye. I just had to call my wife to bring me some rum. I have never done that before. I'm usually ready. But tonight, I'm not. Hey, everybody. It's Thursday, June 25th. I am excited. I've had, what did I have? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days off. This is the summer schedule. I'm not going live every night of the week. It's a little different these days. But then I added it up. What the summer schedule is, once a week, it's only 10 weeks. It's going to fly by. Boom. It's going to fly by like that. But my guest tonight, really cool guy, super talented, clever, creative. He's all that in a bag of chips. And he's all that in a bag of rum. But I won't steal any thunder. I'll talk about that a little later. So if this is your first time on the show, first of all, I appreciate you coming on and watching. If you're just scrolling through and all of a sudden, whoa, what is this bald guy with a wood panel to the right of his head? What is that? It's a really fun show. Just stay. Don't scroll through. It's a bunch of political stuff and COVID. It's the end of the world. You're going to die in like 3 minutes. I mean, there's an asteroid about to hit us. Stay right here. Don't move. The asteroid will not affect you on this show. All right? Just saying. But go ahead and like the page, and more importantly, follow. Because you can like it, but a like is just a like. If you follow me, now that's love. That's love right there. Follows are loves. So who do we got? We got a few people on. We've got, oh yeah, and if you're on the Facebook Wine with Dave page and you leave a comment, it shows up on the screen. It's really cool. Am I in focus? I am a little, I'm standing too close. Let me back up a bit. There I am. Now I'm in focus. Can't move the camera. I can move the desk. Steve Mason, you rummy? Steve Mason. Rum, because of the pirate guest. You got it. You nailed it. So if you're here, you see how that shows up right there? It's kind of clever. It's a little layer. I click a button, boom, you're part of the show. Go to Wine with Dave on Facebook. Just type in Wine with Dave, boom. But oh look, it's wine o'clock. It's going to be wine o'clock for the next 58 minutes, because I say so. And I'm really excited about tonight, but I'm going to get right into the first segment, which is oh no, my wife, it's rum from downstairs.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, see what followed me in?
My wife, thank you, honey. Live show. You can do that on a live show. You get a refill on a live show. You just like text your wife. Wife, I need more rum. I'm interviewing a pirate. I need rum. 2 minutes later, knock, knock, in comes the rum. Gotta love it. It's a rundown little studio, but it works. Anyway, let me go to the next segment, all right, because you guys like the next segment. It's called Did You Know? You guys ready for that? Did you know? People like Did You Know? It's sweeping the nation. People love Did You Know? All right, let me go back up here. Did you know? Did you know that children of identical twins are genetically siblings, not cousins? Did you know that? Children of identical twins. Okay? Your dad and your uncle, brothers, identical twins, you're not cousins. You're like brothers. Well, you are brothers, because it says it right here. Did you know the Goodyear blimp is the official bird of Redondo Beach, California? Leave it to those Californians to name the official bird of Redondo Beach a Goodyear blimp, not a bird. Did you know it would take only 1 hour to drive to space? Yeah, 1 hour to drive to space. Imagine that. When I was a kid, I used to watch the Jetsons. And I used to think by 2020, there's no cars. There's nothing with wheels on them. Forget 4 wheels. Forget 2 wheels. It's just little rocket ship, glass bubble, lift up the bubble, get inside, shut it. Astro, your dog, is in the back, and brrr, you're off, and you're in Paris in like 13 minutes. No, COVID virus, end of the world, yeah. Hey, anyway, Goodyear blimp is a bird in Redondo Beach. But it still takes an hour to drive to space. Did you know a cornflake in the shape of Illinois sold on eBay for $1,350. A cornflake. Open up your cereal boxes, kids. You got a college tuition in there. Did you know the Apollo 11 crew used hundreds of autographs as life insurance? That's true. That is cool. The crew faced the real chance that they wouldn't return from the moon safely, leaving their families without financial support. And due to the extreme danger that they were about to face, they couldn't take out life insurance policies. They just wouldn't get one. So what did they do? All of them signed hundreds of autographs, which their families would have been able to sell if they didn't make it home. It's kind of sad, but an interesting fact. Apollo 11 crew. Did you know Shakespeare's epitaph contains a curse for grave robbers? Look it up. And it's really cool. You should look up what he says. Don't steal his grave. Did you know the Queen of England owns all the swans in England? She owns them all. Did you know blood donors in Sweden receive a text when their blood is used? Yay, Sweden. Come on, Sweden. That's the motherland for me. So smart. So ahead of it. Imagine getting a text. Joey Fattucci. We just pumped his blood into Joey Fattucci. Thank you, David England. They wouldn't talk like that, but you know. I'm making fun of a race. I'm sorry. This is too soon. Is it too soon? It's Italians. They can take it. Did you know that a moonbow is a rainbow that happens at night? And here's the interactive question. What can fly higher than Mount Everest? Just type in Everest, and what do you think can fly higher than Mount Everest? Scientists discovered an organism with a disappearing butt. It's like in the sub-level of the ocean. Its butt just kind of goes, it disappears. It just kind of sucks its butt in. It's like a little amoeba fish thing. I thought that was funny. Suck your butt in, Larry. The light can see you. Oh, come on, Ma. Spider webs were used as what in ancient times? What did they use spider webs in ancient times? That's the second interactive. Just type in spider web and your answer. And the last one, and the music ends at a perfect time. Someone tried to sell what country on eBay? All right, we're done with Did You Know? Oh, wait a minute. What happened to my... Hold on a second. Hold on. Something happened to my camera. That hasn't happened before. All right, my camera's gone. I will have to figure it out in a second. But anyway, the first question. I'm here. I'm gonna put my face on here. But what can fly higher than Mount Everest? All right. What can fly higher? Bill Palmentier says, "Yo, hold on a second. Let me check my camera. This is weird." What can fly higher than Mount Everest? Anybody want to guess? I'll be back in a second. What is going on? Current application. Entire screen. Oh no, what is going on? I just lost my camera. I'll go back here. That's weird. That's weird. I'll go back here. All right. That's really weird. I switched to a scene. That's why I need a producer. So what can fly higher than Mount Everest? Just put in Everest and tell me what you think. Also, spider webs were used as what in ancient times? And someone tried to sell what country on eBay? Bill Palmentier said overheating maybe? Leave it to Bill. No, not overheating. I'm going to go to the next scene. Oh, that scene is just not wanting to work. I'm not going to switch to that scene. I'm going to skip over. All right, let's figure this thing out. Okay, what can fly higher than Mount Everest? Did anyone guess? Steve Mason said a bandage. Oh, he's answering another question. Let's play hide and seek with Dave. Yeah, goof on me now. Goof on me now. Bumblebees. Did you know bumblebees can fly higher than Mount Everest? Is that crazy? Bumblebees. All right, next question. Spider webs were used as what? Steve Mason got it. Bandages, yes. Spider webs. Web designers used to heal people back in the day. Yeah, a little joke. Little web design joke. It's not a little one, it's not funny. So it's really, really little. Someone tried to sell what country? Come on, folks, you're actually leaving comments about, oh, Dave's in the dark. You're goofing on me. I know, the next scene is pitch black. There's no camera for that. Have to figure that one out later. I'll just tell you, New Zealand. Someone tried to sell New Zealand on eBay. Can you imagine? All right. We'll go to the next. Let me try this. I'm not disappearing for good. I'm going to try this. Let's see. Including Skitcher. I'm going to put that in there. FaceTime. That is weird. All right, that's really bizarre. That's really bizarre. That scene doesn't work. All right, anyway, guess what? It is National Leon Day. National Leon Day. Turn off that music. We don't need Did You Know, right? Oh, this is weird. Now I'm in another scene. I got to get rid of things so we don't look like we're in the scene. I'm an engineer, a producer, a writer, a comedian. It's crazy. Anyway, maybe I should do this 5 nights a week so I'm on my game, but I'm not. June 25th, today is National Leon Day. Do you know what Leon is? Do you have any idea what Leon is? Spell Leon backwards. Noel. That's right. We are 6 months into Christmas. National Leon Day marks June 25th. That's 6 months away from Christmas Day. Leon is Noel spelled backwards and is a day some crafters begin planning their homemade gifts and decorations. It can also be a day for those who miss the winter holidays to have a mini winter celebration in June. That's interesting. You ready? There's another one. Today is also another special day. National Handshake Day. Oddly enough, we can't do that. On the last Thursday of June each year, people across the nation observe National Handshake Day. Theories suggest it was a way for medieval knights, Roman soldiers, and other weapon-carrying men to check for hidden daggers by grasping each other's forearms in greeting. A record in Egypt suggests the handshake held a different sort of power. The power of giving. According to Babylonian customs, kings would grasp the hand of the statue of the god Marduk, M-A-R-D-U-K, Marduk, before taking the throne. They would shake Marduk's hand, sit on the throne, and they're now the new king. That's how easy it is. This act was repeated annually during the festival of Zagmuk, not to be confused with Marduk. You shook Marduk's hand on Zarduk. And then this would carry your power over to the next year. Even conquering Assyria continued the tradition. As during ancient times, modern-day handshakes have different customs around the world. Women didn't usually carry weapons and therefore didn't need to shake hands as a form of greeting. Interesting, huh? In the United States, let me move this up here. In the United States, Russia, Australia, and Brazil, and the United Kingdom, in fact, handshakes tend to be firm. But even those with firm greetings have lingering differences. In most Asian countries, such as China, Japan, and South Korea, the grip is always light, or as Rhode Island networkers call it, limp fish. And there should be no direct eye contact either. However, in the Philippines, they make direct eye contact while keeping the handshake light. Then there are the secret handshakes, those elaborate greetings signaling memberships in a group, a secret group, or a club, or a society. All right. Are we ready for the next? I hope this scene works. This would be really bad if it doesn't. And I don't want to skip to it. I just want to see if it works. So hopefully it does. All right. Next Thursday. So I'm going every Thursday at 9 o'clock. I'm going to be live through the summer. And I've got 9 more Thursdays. So hopefully I'm going to entertain you through that time. I've been going since April 1st. This has been fantastic. And this is episode, what is it? Episode 54. Car 54, where are you? Next Thursday on Wine with Dave, Joy Russell. She is a grief coach. So if you have friends who have had a significant loss in their life, then you should invite them to watch. It happens to be my mom's birthday. It just worked out where Joy is, she picked that night. I'm like, yep, that's free. Let's nail it. Put it in there, put it in the calendar. I typed it in. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's my mom's birthday. That's fitting. I miss my mom. It's been good a couple of years. But tonight, I don't mean to bring anyone down. Sorry about that. Tonight you're in for a treat. My mom would laugh at this. My guest is Just Kerr. He is a New England pirate. All right? He's a pirate enthusiast. He is part of the Free Men of the Sea, an historical reenactment group. Justin is a black powder weapons educator. He also owns his own branding and design company. And tonight, Justin and I are going to drink some rum together. Check it out.
You might have heard the phrase, don't go off half-cocked. Well, the origin of that phrase has to do with the way flintlock weapons function. You see, the hammer and flint on a flintlock weapon has 2 positions, half-cocked and full-cocked. Now, in the half-cocked position, you cannot pull the trigger and the weapon will not fire. It's a safety position. In order for the weapon to fire, you have to bring the hammer and flint to full cock, then you can fire the weapon. What's not to love about pirates? They're romantic historical figures, true entrepreneurs and rebels with a wicked sense of style. But my favorite thing about pirates is, I am one.
Justin, how are you?
I'm good.
Your glass disappeared.
I have to be careful with this virtual background. So I have my libation, and as we say in the pirate crew, up grog.
Up grog. So tell me what grog is. Let's get it right into this thing about pirates. Is grog, how do you make a grog?
Let me tell you, there are as many different grog recipes as there are barbecue recipes or chili recipes. But it is a rum-based drink, and it usually involves fruit. And then you can dress it up any way you want. A good friend of mine who's also a member of the crew makes his own grog, and then a lot of people brew their own beer. He makes his own grog, and let me tell you, it is out of this world. Grog is dangerous because it has fruit involved in it. You feel like you're drinking punch. 3 or 4 of those, and you're singing sea shanties.
One grog and you're a musician.
Yeah. It's good stuff, though. It's good stuff.
I had a cassette tape years ago. I was in Bar Harbor, Maine. It was a very fishing village, folk music. and I got sea shanty pirate music. I love that, and I lost it. I don't know where it is anymore, but they all had the little button accordions, and oh man, that just turned me on to that whole thing.
Shanties are great, and they're easy to follow along with because like in our crew we have a couple of different shanty men, and they lead the shanty, and then the participatory bit is you sing the refrain. So once you hear it once or twice, you can just jump right in, and we have a ball singing shanties at a lot of different events that we do in parades and at different events that we get invited to. We even do, one of my favorite things is we get invited down to Mystic at Christmas time to do pirate caroling. So
whoa,
it's the tunes you know, but the words that we put in. So we have a good time with that.
So is it like Santa Claus and his drunken wench? Is it instead of Mrs. Claus?
I mean, we have somebody in the crew who writes the original lyrics to these well-known Christmas carols, and we all have our sheets, and we have a great time. We roam around Mystic, and it's one of the nights where they have the stores open really late and people do their Christmas shopping, and we're just part of the scenery.
That's cool, man. Hey, before I start asking questions, let me just bring on some of these people. Bill Palmentier, forget where's Waldo, where's Dave? Yeah, I had to disappear to make sure the camera was on. That was weird. There's no camera showed up. I couldn't click on any camera.
That's weird.
I won't go into it. We'll let that go. Well done, Justin.
When you invite a pirate on.
I know.
Things go awry.
Well done, Justin Kerr, says Steve Mason. Like a rum-based sangria. Yeah, is that what it is? Is it like a sangria?
You could probably liken it to that. And, of course, there's, 40,000 different types of rum, too.
True. Got another person here. Carmela, and you know Carmela. Hey, Justin Kerr and Dave England. She says, hello. Hi, Carmela. Give Carmela a wave. Thanks for showing up. Hey, guys, right below the video, click on share. Just click that right now, okay? That will help Justin and I out a lot. Just click it. It'll say share to your page. Just say, yep. You don't even have to type anything. Just share away. Then all of your friends, if you have 700, 800, 900 friends, will see that you're watching something. They'll join in and watch. And then we can get the word out about the pirate lifestyle. All right, let me get into this. We got some really good questions here. Let me go back to this video that we played just before you came on. Yeah. Half-cocked, full-cocked. And there's a branding story in there. Tell me all about that. Tell me all about the half-cocked, because I've heard that phrase growing up. Yeah. Well, I even brought the the piece that I had in the video. Nice. It's cut off. You put it in front of your face. Yeah, I got to bring it. I got to bring it right in front of me. So. Yeah. That is cool looking. Thank you. This is my baby. Wow. That's not a replica. Is that like a real gun that works? Well, it is a fully functioning replica. So it is not an original, because if it was original, it'd be in pieces and rotting. But it's a accurate replica of a Navy service pistol. And you can dump about 100 to 120 grains of black powder down the muzzle here. And wow, it makes a really nice boom. Does it? Yeah. Does anything spray onto you when you shoot this thing? Do you get like powder kickback? Well, there's a story there too. So when we march in parades and we're allowed to fire in certain parades, it's a standing order among the crew that you have to know where everybody else's flintlock is, because if you're on the flintlock side, if you're on the lock side, there is some, blowback that will come off of the pan here. And we all know you got to have your head on a swivel. You got to know where the other person is, because you don't want to be too close, because what will happen is you'll get what we call a black powder tattoo. And so twice in 2 different parades now, I have had somebody too close to me when I've fired, and I have tattooed him. Same person in the crew. He knows who he is. And I felt so bad about it, even though he knew he shouldn't have been standing there. I had to buy him his favorite rum as a I'm sorry gift. Oh my gosh. Does it hurt when you get it? Is it like... Yes, it does. If you've ever... It's like a flash of heat, maybe?
Yeah, like if you've ever held a match too long
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you feel that, yeah, that's what it feels like.
Oh
Um,
man.
yeah. So I mean, this is the real deal. This is black powder. You don't play around with this stuff. Um, but you asked about the story of full cock, half cock. So
Yeah. But before you tell the story, how accurate
yeah,
is that gun?
okay. With a flintlock weapon like this, the accuracy is maybe 10 yards at best.
10 yards, you got
And
to have a
that's,
good steady hand. Yep.
yeah, you can have a good steady hand. The thing about these kind of weapons is, yes, you do want to take your opponent down, but more than that, it's a very intimidating weapon. It makes a huge noise, makes a huge flash, and so that is part of it. So even if you miss, you're going to disorient or at least surprise your enemy and be able to take them out in another way.
Mm-hmm.
So these are not highly accurate. It's a smooth bore weapon. When the ball comes out, it could go, any which way. But on a deck of a ship, there's not a lot of room to move around. So you're in close quarters anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
And once you've fired your shot, you have two options. You drop it to the deck and pull out another weapon, or you turn it around, and this side makes a handy little club.
Oh, that's why it has the heavy ball at the end there.
Yeah. So the butt here, which is covered in brass, makes a nice little no more worries stick. Oh.
Wow, brass butt. There's a phrase there, but probably comes from the gun.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
the half cock, full cock. Let's talk
right.
about that.
So when I was this is about a year and a half ago, and I was convinced to rebrand myself, and I would love to take full credit for bringing the pirate into my brand, but there's about half a dozen people that played a role in bringing me around to that idea and convincing me that yes, it's the real thing. You need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to have what we call my coming out party, which was an event that was being held where I was going to give a 2-minute pitch. And so my pitch was basically talking about half cocked and full cocked. And it was in reference to, a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners, they go off half cocked. They don't really plan their branding. They don't plan their content strategy. They go off half cocked. And then I explained what that meant. And with the flintlock weapon, at least this type, there's two positions for the hammer: half cocked, which is a safety position, and full cocked, when you can actually pull the trigger and fire it. So the story was that I was giving my pitch. I was talking about full cock, half cock. I gave the full context for it, and at the end, I had to thank a lot of the people that were there for being there. And I said, thank you all for helping me become more fully cocked, right? In reference to, now I'm ready to launch my new brand.
Yeah.
Well, the mayor, who was going to be in attendance that night, he showed up late.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed up in the last 10 seconds of my pitch. So all he heard was, thank you for helping me become more fully cocked. So that was all he heard. And after the event was over, he came over to me and he said, what exactly is it that you do? So I had to explain to him what I meant by that.
Yeah.
But that's the story of half cocked, full cocked. And I've used that as, part of my brand now for last year and a half.
That's good. That's good. What a clever analogy. Thank you. Get the door going. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Do you have the dog? I'm trying to get a hold of you. Sorry about that. My dog was bugging me. That's a great analogy too. I mean, that just fell right in your lap and it just worked, right?
Yeah. And that the video that you played at the beginning, that is courtesy of my friend Bill. I knew I wanted to do something for my new brand and my new website, so I called him up. This was 4th of July. I said, "Are you doing anything for the 4th of July?" What a stupid question, right?
Yeah.
I said, "What do you need?" I said, "I need you to come to my house. We have to make a video." He's like, "All right, I can give you a couple hours." So he came over, and without a whole lot of scripting, we put that whole video together. And we were going to use this in the video, and we knew that we weren't going to get it on the first take. So I fired off about 5 or 6 rounds from this, and it's loud. And so I had to tell all my neighbors, look, you're going to hear a really big boom. Please don't call the cops. It's just me. So we did the takes, we got the video done, and Bill says, can I fire it? I said, yes, absolutely. So I loaded it up with about 100 grains of black powder. I gave it to him, told him where to stand and everything. He pulled the trigger. We have this on slow-mo video. He pulls the trigger, you see the gun go off, right? And then you see the biggest smile I've ever seen bloom across his face. He comes over and he goes, I now know why you do this.
That is funny. That is funny. Did it just like braise his eyebrows? Just.
Well, it's a shock because here's the thing. This mechanism here, the hammer comes forward, hits what's called the frizzen, opens the frizzen up, and sends a spark down into the pan, which ignites the primer charge, which ignites the main charge inside the barrel, that came down the muzzle, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of delay between when you pull the trigger and when the main charge goes off. So if you don't know that, you pull the trigger and you think, oh, nothing happened, and a half second later, boom, the main charge goes off. So it can be a little bit of a shock.
Is there a danger in that when you pull the trigger, you're like, nothing happened, and you start to turn it, and then, whoa.
Well, yeah. Now, these don't always work. So you can have what's called a misfire where you pull the trigger and, the spark, the hammer and the flint hit the frizzen, but nothing happens, right? Maybe the powder was wet. Maybe there wasn't enough powder. It's a lot of things that can go wrong. So when you have a misfire, the last thing you want to do is start waving that gun around because there's still a full charge down that barrel.
Oh.
So that's like I said, you don't play around with these. It's like, when we go out and do events and at different places, I'll do a weapons demonstration and I'll show people how this works, talk to them about all the safety parameters that they need to be aware of. These are, you can get really hurt with one of these. You have to know what you're doing. Now, we don't put a ball down there. We don't put wadding down there. It's just loose black powder, but it still can cause damage if you're in front of it or too close to it.
Wow, so it really does fire out. So really favorite thing about being a pirate, and why a pirate?
Favorite thing about being a pirate? Well, this is definitely one of them right here.
Oh, yeah. Well, Bill can attest to that. Yes. Actually, he just left something here. He said, true story. So he was happy.
Oh, he was. Matter of fact, I ended up inviting him to our very next gig. So we got him kitted up, and he was pirate for our next gig, and he loved it.
Was that his first and last fire, or did he do more after that?
That was his first fire. Now, the gig that he came to, it wasn't a firing. He wasn't able to fire at that gig. It was a firing gig, but he wasn't able to fire because our crew has to carry insurance for that sort of thing, and he wasn't covered under the insurance, so I couldn't let him fire.
Wow.
But I know he was really bummed about it. But he got to play pirate. He got to carry some weapons. I mean, he had a good time. We had a really good time at that event. That was down in Mystic. Mystic has one of the best pirate events in October called the Mystic Pirate Invasion. It's a 2-day event. Day one is a shanty sing and pub crawl through the town. Oh,
man, I got to go. When is that? October?
It's not going to happen this year. But
it's definitely not.
Yeah, it's usually around the first weekend in October. But when the next time they have it, you definitely have to go. Like I said, day one is the shanty sing and pub crawl. We hit about 9 different pubs in Mystic. And then day 2 is the invasion. So there's a ship moored there called the Argia. And so they'll take a bunch of us pirates out on the Argia, out down past Mystic Seaport, and then bring us back in. We jump off the ship and we take the town. Weapons firing, scaring people. We take hostages for charity.
Wow.
We have a great time. Then we have a little show and tell. Yeah, it's awesome. It really is.
That's cool. Where's the Argia from? Is it from locally from around here?
I don't know exactly. I know that it spends some time right there in Mystic, in the inlet. But I don't know. I really don't know who owns it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a pirate. It doesn't matter who owns it. Just jump on it and take it.
Right. But yeah, we love Mystic. Mystic loves us. We do a lot of stuff down there at the seaport and in Mystic proper. It's one of our favorite places.
That's cool. Steve Mason says, I want to go to Mystic. Ha, 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 ha. Bill Palmentier, it was still a lot of fun, even though we didn't get to shoot it. because no insurance. He should have signed a bunch of autographs like Apollo 11 guys in case anything happened, his wife could sell his autograph. This is his last autograph. He'd probably get $5 though. So, so the Pirates, man. I think every boy growing up, not every boy wanted to be an astronaut. Not every boy wanted to be a cop or a fireman. But like every boy I knew, every kid wanted to be a pirate. It's crazy. So you're a branding designer. Did this skill set and talent help you get attracted to the pirate brand?
Well, it's interesting how the pirate and the designer came together. So I've had like a 27-year career as a designer, but most of that was working for other people. So it's only been since 2016 that I've been working for myself. And like a lot of very naive people that start their own businesses, they think, oh, I'll just I'll do what I do and people will just flock to me. And that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, just build it. They will come. Trust me, they'll come.
Yeah, exactly, right. And of course, that didn't happen. So I was kind of, trudging along there for a couple of years, and I got to be invited to be part of this grant program, which is like a business accelerator. And so it was all design businesses. So there were about 11 of us in the cohort. And about halfway through, we ended up doing a crit of each other. Like we evaluated each other's websites and brand and everything.
Yep.
And here I am. I'm one of the graphic designers in the cohort. I'm supposed to be this branding expert. And we get around to me and they go, you know what, little tough love here, Justin. We love your work. We think the work is great. But you really don't have a brand and your website sucks.
Whoa.
And I was like, ouch. But they were right. They were absolutely right.
That was hard to take, though.
Yeah, it was. And they had also found out through just casual conversations that I was a reenactor, and I showed them some of the pictures, and I actually showed them that picture that you put in the promo. By the way, that's courtesy of Bill, too, that portrait of me.
That's an amazing shot. It is granular and dirty. And did you? By the way, little exit here. Did you have to get dirt on you or anything?
No, that is all Bill's magic.
So you're naturally dirty.
I'm just naturally
No,
dirty,
I mean
yeah.
your arm to your like veins in your arm to holding the gun. I mean, it was just like that was a perfect shot. Love that.
He had gotten some new equipment. He said, "I want to try out this new equipment. Can I come over and set it up?" I said, "Yeah, let me kit up and we'll have some fun." So both my wife and I kitted up, and he just had one light, just coming in from the side. And it was a great shot to begin with, but then he went in and he did a bunch of post stuff that just made it gorgeous. As a matter of fact, and he's probably put this comment in the thing already, I had him make like a painted portrait of me and my wife kitted up.
I saw that.
Had it framed and gave it to her as a Mother's Day gift one year. So it's actually hanging in our house. But yeah, Bill did some real magic with that shot.
No, I'm laughing because he said, "Ouch, only $5," referring to if he shot without insurance and he died, he would have,
Right.
I'm looking. He has. He sent me a photo of that. I could throw it up on the screen right now, but I can't remember where he put it in Facebook. I don't know if he sent it in my text. Bill, if you send me that in a text, I can drag it to the desktop, drag it on here, show everybody. Because it's a great shot of you and your wife. It really is. What is that club that you're holding?
That's called a cudgel. And there's actually a member of our crew that makes those from found wood. That particular one is really interesting because it's pine. It's very, very light. So easy to swing. But his signature is that in the top of each cudgel, he always carves a skull. So they're very distinctive. And a cudgel was just a very common pirate weapon. We had lots of different things that we could use to persuade people. That just happened to be one of them.
Cool. So as a graphic designer, brand designer expert, you saw pirate and you just resonated with that.
Yeah, well, I had been at the time I was in that cohort, and they said, "Hey, your brand's kind of nowhere." I'd been a reenactor for about 10 years at that point. And they originally said, "Why isn't your pirate part of your brand?" And I'm like, oh, because that's what I do over there, and this is what I do over here. And they're like, well, it's all you. It's you over there and you over here. Why aren't they together? And then I had several other people that I was close to say, yes, you have to bring these two things together.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was like, I don't know. I don't want it to be cheesy. I don't want it to be, kitsch. I want to make sure that it's, that it's authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone that knows me well can tell you I don't come quickly to decisions. So it took me about 6 months to come around to going, all right, I'll do this. It's time to do this. And I have not regretted a minute of it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The pirate was there, and the designer branding specialist was there, and they just needed to come together. And so now they have.
I think it's brilliant. I mean, pirates stand for something, and that's your life. And you are someone that makes a mark. And the pirates make a mark. They've got the flag, the Jolly Roger, and it's a great, just you suck it all together, and it's amazing. So let's talk about some pirate myths and realities. What are some things what's the whole thing with the R and the R? What's that? I heard that Disney actually created the dialogue for pirates that we think what pirates talk about. It's Disney.
Well, I don't know if it was Disney, but they certainly perpetuated it. So a lot of what we think about pirates and like how they talk comes from literature, it comes from movies, it comes from, popular culture. Now, the pirates that I reenact and that my crew reenacts is what's called the Golden Age of Piracy, which is about 1690 to about 1729, right? And a lot of the pirates that that you've heard about, Thomas Tew, Blackbeard, Sam Bellamy, they were English or Irish or Scottish, right? And they lived in the 18th century. So they sounded like every other 18th century Scotsman or Englishman or Irishman. They didn't talk like Johnny Depp or or all the other pirates that you see in movies or that you read about in books. They just didn't. So popular culture has brought that to us. And do we play off that a little bit? Sure, we do, because that's what people enjoy. And I have to tell you that Pirates of the Caribbean, that franchise, has been a blessing and a curse to pirate reenactors, because it really popularized the whole idea of pirates, which we're thankful for because it gets people to come to see us when we do events.
Yeah. But
it also brings a lot of mythology that's not really historically based.
Yeah, but isn't that a good thing in a way where you could say, hey, Pirates of the Caribbean, that's not true. This is what we really did. Or do you guys get really bitter that it's like, come on, Disney?
We don't get bitter.
You don't get bitter.
But you're right. It does give us an opportunity to say, well, here's the way things really were based on what we know.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about pirates is, they kind of flew under the radar as far as, their ships were not their own. Their ships were acquired. We like to refer to ourselves as nautical acquisition and redistribution.
Huh.
So, when we find something at sea, we acquire it. So you're not going to find a lot of documentation about pirates specifically, assigned to ships and being in this place or that place. Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
A little lighting issue.
Yeah. My went to sleep. My computer went to sleep.
Oh, okay. Now, there is one extremely well-documented pirate ship. And I want to encourage anybody who's interested in history or pirates to go to the Whydah Pirate Museum, which is in Yarmouth, out on the Cape.
So I put that in here.
Okay.
It's discoverpirates.com, the Whydah Pirate Museum. Explain that one.
Well, the Whydah was a merchant ship. It was also part of the triangle trade during colonial times. So the colonies to the Caribbean to Africa, right? So if you're familiar with that, it was part of that trade. And it actually transported slaves from Africa to the Caribbean. And it was captured by Captain Sam Bellamy, or Black Sam Bellamy, right? And he had a very short but successful career in capturing other merchant ships and relieving them of their goods. And he was on his way back to Boston got caught in a horrific storm off of the Cape, and this was in 1717, and the Witta sank off the coast of Cape Cod.
Oh.
And they have spent the last 50 years recovering artifacts from that wreck. And if you go to the Witta Pirate Museum, everything in that museum is from that ship. All of the gold, all of the artifacts, the ship's bell, everything is right from that ship. And it's an amazing piece of history. And it's a pretty well documented ship and story. So if you're interested in that stuff at all, you got to go check out the Witta Museum. Now, it's closed right now because of COVID. Right. You can go to the website and check out a lot of the stuff that they have in the museum. And what's really neat about that museum is not only is it a museum where you can go look at the artifacts, but they have the reclamation lab right there in the museum.
So where is Witta?
Oh, it's in the museum's in Yarmouth.
Oh, Yarmouth. Okay. So I just put that up there. I wasn't pointing to. I was pointing to the web address on there. That's amazing. I didn't even know there was one, and that's not too far away.
No.
Let me bring up another photo here. I got a few things to show. This one is the one that Bill Parmentier took of you and your wife. And if you could just describe some of the, I'm going to cover me up. You guys can see that. I'm like way over here off to the page. So it's a split screen, but mostly it's not quite half. So that wooden stick,
cudgel?
What is it called again?
Cudgel. Okay,
now what's hanging from your wife's waist, or is it yours? It looks like a net that's holding a ball.
Oh, okay. That's just a little glass flask, and then she did some rope work with some jute around it, just as a holder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that typical that pirates would just do crafts on the off time and they would just create things and make clothing?
Yeah. Well, on a ship, you needed some skilled labor, right? You needed a carpenter to repair the ship when it needed to be repaired. Usually, the carpenter was also the surgeon. Mm-hmm. You needed people to take care of the sails. You needed lots of skilled labor. But a lot of pirates were former sailors, and they knew lots of different things. Some of them were musicians. Some of them were really good with rope work. And we've got several people on our crew that have lots of really cool skills. So my wife happens to be one of them. So a lot of this shirt that you see right here, she made this. And she makes she's made most of my kit. She's made my slops, my shirts. She's made waistcoats for me, jackets. So she's really good at that stuff. She does a lot of knitting. We have a lot of caps from her. So she really is. Matter of fact, when she joined the crew about 5 or 6 years after I joined the crew, and she's actually more popular than me. So I had to work pretty hard to get into the crew. She just walked right in,
Not bitter though, right? You're not bitter.
Not bitter at all, no.
Not bitter. All right, so we talked about if anyone was interested in knowing more of the museum, there's a movie or a show. Let's talk about that.
Oh, okay. Well, a little bit of shameless self-promotion. There's on Netflix, there's a series called Explained.
Yep.
And in the second season, the 5th episode is all about pirates. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, they did their research. The information that they provide in that little 20-minute episode is really, really good, really accurate about pirates and their role in the development of the colonies and how they were perceived and what they really were like. But there's about 10 seconds of Free Men of the Sea in that, because a couple of years ago when we were down at Mystic, Netflix showed up and said, "Hey, we want to do some filming here. Are you okay with that?" And we're like, "Yeah." So
come on, you're in the Netflix episode. That's awesome.
Yeah, for about 3 seconds.
But you made it. So, you got onto Netflix.
I made it. So yeah, they were down at Mystic Seaport when we were there doing an event in the spring a couple of years ago, and they did like half a day's worth of filming, and then they condensed it down into like 10 seconds.
Right. That's typical, right? You got to get all this stuff and then cut it up.
But I recommend checking that out because it really is a good piece of history.
So let me put that back on the screen. So that's the Netflix series Explained, but it's only one episode. Every episode is a different story of explaining something. You know, one was called Cults. This was Pirates. So season 2, episode 5. Just look it up. You'll find it. Justin highly recommends it. And then the museum in Yarmouth. And then there's a book. Tell us about the book. Let me throw that on the screen.
Yes. Black Flags, Blue Waters. Really good.
Eric
book.
J. Dolan.
Yes. Unlike a lot of books, history books, this one doesn't read like a service manual for your car. It's actually a very interesting read. But what he focuses on is what we refer to as the golden age of piracy, 1690 to 1729. And he does, each chapter is a little bio on a notable pirate from that time. So it's a really good read. You get a lot of really good history. And a lot of it is, almost all of it is based in New England. So you get a lot of good New England history as well.
Yeah.
Pirates played a really important role in the economic development of the colonies because they were part of that triangle trade that I talked about before. So colonists had to purchase all of their goods that they couldn't produce themselves from England, from the East India Company, right? And at exorbitant rates. So pirates, being the entrepreneurs that they are, would relieve some of these East India Company ships of their wares and then bring them back to the colonies and sell them at a cut rate to the colonists. So we were extremely popular because we could bring the goods at half the cost that they had to buy them from England.
Wow. So truly entrepreneurs. Probably one of the first entrepreneurs here.
Right. We also brought a lot of other things back to the colonies. And, you know, if some things never change, we were quite popular with some of the local governments because we would bring them things too to sort of smooth our way into town. And the whole, here's a little myth, right? A lot of people think pirates, they gathered all the booty together, put it in a chest and buried it. That really wasn't the case. We would spend it as fast as possibly we could. So when we rolled into town, we found out where the action was, and we could blow a fortune in 3 days.
Wow, that's just in your nature, huh? To just go through it.
Right.
If you got it, spend it.
We were extremely good for the economy because when the tavern owners saw us coming, they're like, oh, we're going to do well tonight, and we're going to do well for the next 3 nights until they're out of money.
So that's so funny, Justin. I would think that you guys would be like really rough and just give me a rum and drink and get drunk and just like pillage. But you actually were thinkers. You were like, whoa, the economy, it costs them this to go here, but if we grab it and we go here, we could save money. And people, they were thinking like business people.
We were opportunists.
Opportunists, yep. They weren't all bad though, right?
Well, I have to say that some pirates could be extremely nasty. They had yes, they would torture people. Yes, they would kill people. But on the whole, what we were interested in most was what was on that ship, because we wanted to be independent. We wanted to be free. We wanted to be wealthy, right? Which was in colonial times, you talk about 1%ers now, it was really 1%. Because if you weren't in the top 1%, you were poor. If you weren't a merchant, or there was no middle class. You were in the
right. So there's no middle class, right?
So we were opportunists, and you had a couple of choices. You could try and make your way as a craftsman or a tradesman. You could join the Navy, which was no fun whatsoever, or you could try your hand at piracy, and you could get extremely wealthy in a very short amount of time. Now, you could also get extremely dead in a short amount of time, too. So there was risks involved. And for the most part, pirates were opportunists. We just wanted to have fun. We wanted to be wealthy, and we wanted to be left alone to do whatever we wanted to do. Now, there were some nasty pirates, but our best marketing was what people said about us, whether it was true or not. Word got out that we were coming into town, and if you were part of the, authorities, you were intimidated because you knew what we were capable of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were crazy enough to do it. You know, typical merchant ship in that time might have a crew of 20, right? Pirate ship might have a crew of 80,
Wow.
right? So think about it. Here, ship comes up alongside you, is flying friendly colors, gets right up alongside you, pulls down the friendly colors, puts up the pirate flag. There's 80 of us, there's 20 of you. We're working for ourselves. You're working for somebody else. How hard are you going to fight for what's on that ship?
All right, so that ship wouldn't be carrying their own goods. They're actually just delivering from someone else.
Yeah.
So the pirates were stealing, but they weren't stealing from the other ship. They were just taking
They were
from
stealing from the company that had sent that ship from point A to point B. The crew are just hired hands, and they're like, "I'm going to lose my life over some of this stuff." Nope,
True.
you can have it.
Yep.
You
Now,
can
do you
have it.
think those people that ship A, ship B is the pirates, ship A, would they ever get used again by the manufacturer because they're getting taken over by pirates? Or did they know that anyway? Like, look, this is just the nature.
Well, if the ship was a good upgrade, the pirates might take that ship, put the crew on the other ship, right? So pirates typically like to have smaller, faster ships because they were easy to maneuver
Yeah,
and
yeah.
quick. So they didn't necessarily want a huge ship. But if the ship they took over was a better ship, was an upgrade, maybe it had more guns, maybe it had more cargo room, they'd say, okay, let's take this one. You guys can have our ship. And they would just put that crew on the other ship and send them off.
They were opportunists. They didn't want to kill. They weren't trying to be bad. They took advantage of opportunity.
If we can get what we want without a fight, that's a good day. We're not looking for a fight because in a fight, there's a possibility I could get injured or worse. If you're willing to give me what I want without a fight, that's great.
That's
All the better.
amazing.
It saves me ammunition. It saves me trouble. It's a win-win.
So let's talk about that with the fight. What kind of fights, what kind of ammunition would they have? Cannons? Muskets? What other knives? Explain some of the weapons they'd have.
Anything you can imagine. So they may have guns, pistols, muskets. There's a beautiful little weapon called a blunderbuss, which kind of looks like a sawed-off shotgun. And it has a fluted barrel to it. Matter of fact, that picture that you put up, I'm carrying one.
Let me put
the
that
promo
up
picture.
again.
So
Yeah.
what's nice about the blunderbuss is it's great for leveling a deck, right? So it's like a shotgun. It has a wide spray to it.
Yep.
So if you want to clear a deck really fast, you put powder down there. You can put a ball, or you can put bird shot, or you can put pretty much anything. You could put broken glass down it. You could put nails down it.
Really?
Fire that out, clear a deck. Yeah. So flintlock weapons, knives, swords, cudgels. There was some interesting things that you could put in a cannon. You could put shot in, but you could also put in what they call chain shot, which is two small cannonballs connected by a chain. And what that does, when it comes out, it spins, right? So if you want to take out a mast or you want to take out some rigging to
Right.
disable a ship,
Right.
very handy. Grenades, they had grenades then.
They did?
Yes. So in the cartoons, you see the little black ball with the wick coming out of it.
Yep.
That's a grenade, right? So an iron ball that's hollow on the inside, you pack it full of powder, you put that match or the
That's
fuse in it,
crazy.
send it over.
I would not have thought that.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of different ways to disable a ship and disable people. So
So another myth, walk the plank.
yeah.
Didn't happen, or is some truth to it?
If we didn't want you on the ship, the quickest way to get you off was to throw you over the side. To take the time and effort to find a plank, right? A spare plank on a ship.
Yeah, where's the plank? Call Jerry. Jerry, bring a plank up.
Yeah, bring the plank that we keep just for, yeah. And then to attach it to the side of the ship and put somebody on it and force them to, no, we're just going to throw you over, you know? And if you can swim as long as you can, and then if that, you don't drown from that, the sharks will get you. Now, there were ways of disciplining people and torturing people. You might have heard of keel hauling.
I heard the name. No, what is? Explain that.
Keel hauling is where you would lash somebody's wrists and their ankles with rope, right? And you put them over the side with their back to the ship, right? And then you bring the rope that's on their feet around the other side, right? And you basically drag them along the side and underneath the ship and back up the other side.
Wow.
The other thing that'll happen is on the bottom of the ship, you have crustaceans, right? You have all sorts of growth. You have these shells that attach themselves, right? So your back is dragging along those shells. It's cutting you open as you're dragged underneath the keel hauling, right?
Wow.
And brought up the other side. So if you survive and don't drown, and you don't get a nasty infection from being cut open, and you live, you had your punishment.
Wow.
Now, that's a nasty way. So, and there's lashings, right? Cat o' nine tails, there's lashings.
Yeah.
A pirate ship was very democratic. Everyone, except the captain, had an equal share in whatever booty they took on, right? Everyone had an equal vote. Captains were voted into office. If you didn't like the captain, you voted him out. Very democratic. Everyone signed articles when they came on, right? Mm-hmm. That they would obey by the rules. If you were caught stealing, you were either put to death or you were marooned. Because we had to have order on a pirate ship, right? To be able to do what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody had an equal share. Everybody had the same opportunity to become wealthy.
Wow. There you go. This is great stuff. All this stuff I didn't know about. Amazing. And so were women pirates? Were there any women that jumped on board and did this stuff?
Yeah, there were definitely women pirates. There were some of note. So you probably might have heard the name Mary Read or Anne Bonny.
Anne Bonny, heard that. Yep.
Two famous pirates that had attached themselves to Captain Jack Rackham. They existed in that golden age of piracy. Grace O'Malley is a famous Irish pirate. She was actually from the 16th century. She was a contemporary of Queen Elizabeth I, and actually was so successful in her pirate entrepreneurship that she was asked to meet the Queen in order to sort of work out a truce. And when you met with the Queen, you weren't allowed to take any weapons into the chamber where you were going to meet the Queen. Not only did Grace O'Malley refuse to give up her weapons, but she got a private audience with Queen Elizabeth. Nobody ever got a private audience with Queen Elizabeth.
Wow.
So Grace O'Malley, you got to read about her. She was a real badass. And then if you really want to read about an awesome female pirate, Qing Shi, all right? She was a 19th century Asian pirate.
Yeah.
And she was so successful as a pirate, she amassed 1,800 ships, an armada of 1,800 ships and 80,000 crew members.
Whoa.
And she negotiated her own truce with the Chinese government and was able to retire as a pirate and live in luxury because she had amassed such a force.
Wow.
Yeah.
The wealthiest pirate.
One of, yeah.
Probably the most successful, right? That's crazy.
I would put her right near the top. Yeah. And there's quite a few notable female pirates throughout history.
So what's the deal with Tew? Is that his name? T-E-W? Tew's?
Thomas Tew?
Yeah. Is he the Rhode Island guy? Is he the...
He's a local guy, yeah.
Okay, what was his deal? What did he do? Little story on him.
He was an English privateer. Now, here's an interesting distinction. There's a difference between a privateer and a pirate. Okay, privateer is a pirate that has been given a letter of marque by a government. It's a letter that says, any ships you capture of our enemy, you can keep a portion of the booty. The rest goes to us, right? So if I was given a letter of marque by England, I could raid whatever ships from the country they were at war with. So if they were at war with France, I could raid French ships with impunity, right? And I was protected by that letter of marque. Without a letter of marque, you're a pirate. So difference between a privateer and a pirate. So Thomas Tew was an English privateer. He was a local, and he had a very successful first voyage. Came back with an enormous amount of booty. Thought, I should try this again. Went out on his second trip, was not so successful. He died in a battle in the Red Sea. Actually got, according to legend, was cut in half by a cannonball. And that ended his pirate career. But, you know,
it would end a lot of things.
Yeah. He's pretty famous locally. And, I've had his rum. It's pretty good.
Wow. Imagine getting shot with a cannon. That can't be nice.
No, thanks.
You'd probably still be alive for a few minutes after that. Maybe.
Maybe long enough to say arg.
Yeah. Maybe that's where the arg came from. Justin, it was great having you on, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
This is good. Drinking some rum. I'm on my second glass. And
you're way ahead of me.
This is great. So I'm going to flash these up here again. So there's the book, Black Flags, Blue Waters, The Epic History of America's Most Notorious Pirates. Eric J. Dolan. That's a great one. That's a great book. I haven't read it, but you say it's great. I trust you.
It is.
And then go to discoverpirates.com, and that's the WIDA Pirate Museum? WIDA Pirate Museum. That's in Yarmouth. So visit that. Take the kids out. Of course, you have to call them first because, COVID-19.
Yeah, I don't know when they're going to be reopening the museum itself, but you can get a lot of good stuff from the website.
Oh, yeah, just going to the website alone. And then lastly, Netflix. Justin shared that the series called Explained. On Season 2, Episode 5, there's one called Pirates. It's a half-an-hour show, right? Is that so long it is?
20 minutes.
Oh, it's quick. Man, they barely touch on it.
You can watch it on your lunch hour.
Is there any podcasts? Because I followed one years ago. I think it was called The History of Pirates. The guy put out one episode a month, and then once every 6 months, and then he stopped. I think he only had like 4 episodes, and he gave up. Are there any that you know of that are?
No, there. I'm sure there are, but none that I could point you to.
Bill, talking about the guy who got shot with a cannon, Bill Parmentier put, he was half the man he used to be.
Oh.
Joni Posner, that is crazy. Wow. So, yeah, Joni is listening in. I know.
Oh, Joni Posner?
Joni Posner.
That's my cousin.
Well, your cousin's watching your show. Hi, Joni. Awesome. I'm interviewing your cousin.
Oh, and I gotta say hi to my oldest daughter, Grace. It's her birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Grace. So that's another question. How many kids do you have? I heard you have like 17, 18?
I have 6.
That's not too many. When you compare it to 18.
Yeah.
So what do they think of your pirate escapades?
Well, my oldest son, William, and my son, John, are actually part of the crew.
Really? Come on.
Yeah. And so when my oldest son, William, joined the crew, every pirate has a pirate name, right? And it's bestowed on you. You don't pick out your own name. It's given to you. So we were going round and round trying to find out a pirate name for my son. Now, he's really tall, really thin. He kind of looks like a broom with shoes, right? And so we were trying to figure out, like, okay, what would be a good name for him? And someone said, how about Ramrod? And he's like, please, no. Like, all right, that's not a good pirate name. Not a good pirate name. So finally we came up with Long Nine, right? Which it's a type of cannon. It's a very long, thin cannon. So we said, how about Long Nine? He's like, I like it. So his pirate name is Long Nine.
That is cool. 9 is my number. I love 9.
Oh, okay.
It's just a great number. That's good. 9. 9's good.
I think you'd make a good pirate, Dave.
I think I would be. You know, I go through periods where the goatee gets long. They're very stylish. I mean, you obviously pull it off, but I might call you up one day and go to the pirate initiation and get spanked with a wooden paddle to become a member. I don't know. I don't know what it takes.
Well, that would be something new. I don't remember that being part of the initiation, but hey,
shoot me with a cannon so I can get into the club.
There you go.
That's interesting. Or the special handshake, like I talked about earlier. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Justin. You're the man.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
The Pirate Man. Any questions anybody have? Let me see. Steve Mason, happy birthday, Grace. Bill Palmentier, happy birthday, Gray. He forgot the C. Gray. That's Grace the Gray. That's her new name. Grace the Gray.
Oh.
She's wisdom. Grace, he forgot the C. That's fine. He didn't forget it. I know. He's on his phone, and he's like,
yeah.
That's what
He's
happens when you... That's what happens. Love the background. Love that little lithograph behind you. Looks great. JustinKerrDesign.com. If you guys want to get a hold of him, Justin Kerr Design, Kerr. You got the 2 R's in there. He was born with an R. He was born with that in his name. Come on.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Meant to be. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Take care, my friend.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye. All right, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me switch my camera. Oh, this is I got another scene issue. Here I am. I'm back. So Justin's in the other room. Justin, hold on. No one can see you or hear you, but I have what's called an after party, and we can hang out. I'll be done in about 2 minutes. So next week I've got Joy Russell. She is a Christian grief coach. And again, it happens to be my mom's birthday, so that'll be cool. But she's just going to talk about how to grieve through the holidays, how to grieve in certain calendar dates. They come in waves, 4th of July. I mean, you do things with your parents and loved ones, and then they're not there anymore. And so she's going to give a lot of advice on how to grieve properly. She's really good. She's a good old friend of mine, and actually my best friend for many, many years died suddenly on his birthday, on his 53rd birthday, and he was going to propose to Joy. So I probably would have been in the wedding party, and I've gotten to know Joy over the years, so she'll be on. It's going to be a really good, if you know anyone who is going through a tough time right now, just have them come on the show. Have them watch and pay attention and learn from that. So we all grieve. So I'm just going to end the night, 10:13. Going to get you pirates to bed. I always close with that same thought that I say every night, which is everybody has an expiration date. Everyone. So treat everyone fairly. Give everybody a hug. I went to the wrong scene. I got the Live for 5 scene, which I am not going to do because I don't need to do that. Don't need to do that tonight. That's the next scene. But next week, tune in next week. If you're just watching, follow the page. Appreciate it. Take care, everybody. See you next week.